Hi, welcome along to a game of two halves here on DR Sports. I'm joined by Mark Goldbridge this morning to talk about all the football at the weekend in the Premier League. Good morning, Mark. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm still buzzing off Thursday. I'm not really taking much of a notice of Sunday.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, look, we'll get into it, but no, I still think positive about where loving the top five race in the Premier League as well. Big up to like Chelsea, Villa, and everyone like that. So
Wow.
yeah, I mean, I think it's good. I think English football's in a good place at the moment.
It is, despite the fact that, relegation's done, the title's done. It is an exciting race for that top five. But let's first of all get into two of those big issues, which is the first one is the title. Got to big up Liverpool yesterday. I thought Leicester, they put up a good fight in the game. Remember, they were playing for survival themselves, even though we all know they're going down. But they knew that if they lost the game, they'd be relegated yesterday. They did lose the game. Liverpool winning the game, only one victory away now from winning the title easily this season. And it was Trent Alexander-Arnold. You couldn't have written it with the goal. Bit of real quality in the game. The guy that's been much maligned over the last few weeks by Liverpool fans takes his shirt off, runs to the Liverpool fans, huge celebrations, is all forgiven for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Will he now stay at Liverpool, or is that his swan song, that is big goodbye? But if it is, it was a big moment for him.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's just an indicator of what football life can be, isn't it? We're angry for a little bit and then things can change. I don't want to make it about United, but a couple of years ago, Harry Maguire was really bad and quite rightly was criticised. And then Thursday, I said it on Thursday, Harry Maguire won't be remembered for the mistakes. He'll be remembered for what he did against Lyon and that's the way it should be. And, I think with Trent, Liverpool are going to win the league. They've had a few weeks to get over the Champions League, get adjusted to the fact that he's probably going to go to Madrid. Liverpool Football Club will remain a great football club, and they'll move on. And Trent Alexander-Arnold will quite rightly have his place in the history of that football club. And whether some fans are still angry at him, I guarantee you, in 5-10 years' time, you won't be. So I think it's mature from those Liverpool fans to realise that yesterday's front pages are today's chip paper, as we used to say when we were kids, and I think you move on, and it's good that you say that about Liverpool, because there's a lot going on with Arsenal, even Man United and Spurs. But Liverpool's season has been incredible from August, and just because they're going to win it, people have sort of forgotten about that, and they're very close to getting the job done. And I'm sure Liverpool fans don't mind that your club's getting the headlines whilst they win a Premier League that they wouldn't have been expecting to win probably back in August. It's been a good season for Arne Slot in his first year.
Yeah, no, it's amazing for Arne Slot. First season, winning the league, not just winning the league, winning it easily, right? I think even as an Arsenal fan, right, I've got to admire what they've done, right? I've heard some fans sort of say things like, oh, the season's been rubbish, and, like almost like they're playing down what Liverpool have done. You've got to give them maximum respect. This is a very competitive league, right? And they have blown away the opposition. It's as simple as that, right? And they've been consistently good all season, and that's what makes you win a league. And credit to Arne Slot. And like you said, I'm in agreement with you on that Trent Alexander-Arnold thing. Yeah, I can understand why some fans are a bit upset because he's leaving. It's not his fault. It's not his fault that the owners didn't offer him a new contract. And the one thing, even if you are angry as a Liverpool fan that he's leaving, the one thing you must give this guy is that he's remained professional all season. He hasn't bailed out. He's kept going, and he's kept scoring big goals. He's kept having big moments for the club. And just think, like you said, think about what he's done over the years for the club. This guy should be remembered as a legend of Liverpool Football Club. Simple as that. I banter Liverpool fans about, the fact that he's going to Real Madrid and that. That's only because I know how good a player he is, right? And I'm glad that he's going because he's so good. But you cannot fault this guy, what he's done at Liverpool. And you can't have a go at him for seeking pastures new, right? He's done everything at Liverpool. If it was me and Saka, I'd be upset. But I'd understand. And I think these Liverpool fans will understand. you know, and it was a great moment for him. I was actually pleased for him to see, you know, after the amount of stick and that he's been getting of a section of Liverpool fans, to see him score that big goal. And one win away now, and they got Tottenham, right? And they ain't losing that, right? Tottenham, I think, at Anfield, they're going to lift they're going to win it at Anfield. I mean,
well, the interesting thing,
and then I think the following week, Mark, then they got us, right? We were the first team to have to give them a guard of honor. But
is that at Anfield?
Yeah, but they'll deserve it.
Yeah.
They deserve the guard of honor. That's the other thing. I've heard some fans losing it. Oh, they guard of honor. They deserve a guard of honor. They've been the best.
I think as well, you know, in credit to Liverpool, all right, it might be a bit boring and they're going to win the league, but they're not going to win it with 75 points. Like, if you look at what they're on, I think they're on 79 and they've got 5 games to go. Okay, they've got to play Arsenal, they've got to play Chelsea, important games for those. But I think Liverpool should push for it. I mean, like, if they can hit, if they can get 15 points left, if they can get, say, 90, three, we look at the last 4 seasons with Man City's juggernaut, 91, 89, 93, 86. So Liverpool have pitched in what it takes to win a Premier League title. So people who say, oh, it's a bit boring, this, that, and the other. I mean, any other year, this Liverpool side would have been fighting against Man City the same way Arsenal did last year. So, Arsenal have had their problems. Man City have fell off. But I think Liverpool have done their job, and it's down to everyone else next season.
Exactly. They've done their job. Simple as that. They've done their job. End of. For Leicester, on the other end, they were relegated. So Leicester are down. Also, we already know that Southampton are down, even though they had a credible draw. It was good to see them get a point. They're now on 11 points. They're trying to beat that record, that that horrible record that Derby County have of the worst ever team in the Premier League on 11 points. They need one more point to go past that, but we know they're relegated. They drew against West Ham, and the other team that looks absolutely doomed are Ipswich. I was at the game yesterday. Arsenal beating Ipswich by 4-0. I've got to say, one of the most comfortable wins I've seen away from home for Arsenal in years. I mean, it was absolute cruise control. They could have scored way more if they really... I mean, when you talk about second gear, that was second gear. A couple of goals for Trossard. And it was a good confidence performance by Arsenal. They needed to win that as well because, you got teams sort of coming up underneath them in that race for the top 5. It was a good win by Arsenal, good win. But Ipswich, really, really poor. And I don't know if you saw the red card in the game, a horrendous tackle on Saka. Every Arsenal fan went like this. Oh, my
God.
That
was the problem, yeah.
Yeah, because, obviously we don't want him injured. He's absolutely vital in the games coming up in the Champions League. But the manager, Mikel Arteta, saying afterwards that he's fine. But it was a horrendous... What was that player thinking of?
I think when I was doing the Man United game, and a lot of people were coming in saying red card at Ipswich, disgusting tackle. So you go on, I mean, fair play to Twitter. They do get red cards up quicker than they get the goals. Someone always clips it. And I looked at it, and to be honest, you look at it and you go, I think that's a red card. And then you keep looking at it and you keep looking at it and you're going, it's still a red card. I'm just trying to find some justification to go. I think what he's done is try to win the ball about 5 seconds too late. Like, that's the only thing I can look at. Or he's done it deliberate. And I would urge people to think he's just mistimed that horrifically, and therefore it's reckless. It's out of control. It's a red card. It was, and I'd hate to think he did it on purpose, because that could have been a season ender for Saka. And I'm no Arsenal fan, and I've got nothing against Ipswich, but it's business end of the season, and you don't want to see people going after players like that. So I think he's just mistimed it horrifically, but fair play to the officials. They got it absolutely spot on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he did it deliberately, but it was completely reckless. And he deserved the red card. Ipswich on the verge of being relegated. And we know that who's going to win the league. We know who's going down. Before we get to your game, Mark, we don't know yet, though, who's going to be the full top 5. There were some great games in that race for the top 5, right?
Yeah.
Aston Villa 4, Newcastle 1. Aston Villa, by the way, were absolutely on fire. Ollie Watkins, who's been left out of the Champions League starting 11s for Aston Villa. He said after the game he's been, fuming about that. but he answered it perfectly. He was brilliant in the game. 4-1 win over Newcastle, who've also been on fire, who brought it back to 1-1. But Villa were brilliant. And when you consider that they're coming off the back of a really disappointing loss against PSG, where they went really close. They gave it everything in that game and nearly pulled it back. You got to credit them for a performance like that after the disappointment of midweek. They were brilliant.
Yeah, and I think we spoke last week or the week before about their squad and their bench is so good, but so many people have a European hangover for so many different reasons. You said, it was probably Arsenal's easiest game. I mean, Arsenal probably wouldn't have fancied playing Spurs away or something like that after the week, even though they won, although you'd beat them, to be fair. That might be an easy game as well. But, for Villa, they're playing Newcastle, who've won 5 Premier League games in a row, which is hard to do in this league. And maybe Newcastle were a little bit tired, but Villa have had their own exertions. They've now won 5 Premier League games in a row as well. And I think, the Watkins, I mean, look, credit to Villa. The incredible thing about Villa is they've won 5 games in a row and they can't get in the top 6. Like every that just shows you the competitive nature. I mean, the 3rd to 7th is separated by 2 points, which is just amazing when you think about the stakes. But yeah, for Villa, they can't really do any more. They're winning games. They've just got to keep going. And if I was Emery or a Villa fan, by the way, I would love what Ollie Watkins said after the game, effectively saying he's angry, he's not being picked, he's angry with the manager. If we're winning games, I don't care if my striker's angry, he's on the bench because I'm winning. I think the problem is if it's someone like United and it's someone moaning about, I'm angry, I'm not in the team, and then the results are rubbish. But look, Watkins, I get it. I like the honesty. I know some people were trying to twist it yesterday into a negative, and I was like, he's a professional footballer who's been a brilliant player for Villa. Like last season, his stats were unbelievable. I like the fact that he's come out and said, look, as a professional, I'm not happy just to sit on the bench, get him a wage, I want to play. But I think Emery could answer that and go, look at what I've done in the league, look at what we're doing in the cups. So yeah, competition for places at Villa is fantastic. I don't know, Robbie, who's getting the top 5, because Chelsea's win yesterday.
Chelsea
has got that.
Chelsea's big win over Fulham. They were 1-0 down. Pedro Neto in the last minutes of the game, massive win for Chelsea. And also there was a massive win for Man City. 0-0 again. Game petering out. And then O'Reilly, yet again, this kid, he's outstanding at the moment. He comes in with a big goal. They end up winning that 2-0. Kovacic, right? That race for the top 5 places is really heating up, as we know as well. There's a big game tonight with Nottingham Forest going to Tottenham. But let's take a look. Let's take a look at the top 5. Then obviously we know that Liverpool are going to win the league, 79 points. Big win for Arsenal yesterday because teams have been closing in on them. Newcastle could have went within a point of Arsenal if Arsenal would have lost and Newcastle won their game. But Arsenal second place on 66 points. 3rd place now, check this out. 3rd place, Newcastle, 59 points. 4th place, City, 58 points. 5th place, Chelsea, 57 points. 6th place, Nottingham Forest, but they've got a game in hand, 57 points. If they win tonight, they jump back up into 3rd. 7th place, Manchester City on 57 points, right? I mean, you couldn't get it any closer. And the prize is big. The Champions League, where we know you get big money and the big games. I mean, Mark, give us your top 5. What is the top 5 going to be? I'm putting you on the spot. Come the end of this season.
Well, we're all doing it, aren't we? And we're all changing it every week. I mean, I think Liverpool, Arsenal, and actually Newcastle, I think, are going to get it. Looking at the fixtures for Newcastle, Ipswich at home next week, perfect game, win that. But Man City, Villa Tuesday, Chelsea, I think they've got some tough games coming up towards the end. I think they've got to go to Forest, they've got to go to Newcastle. But then they've got United at home, Liverpool at home. This is the thing about this time of the year, and we're old enough to know this. You look at the fixtures, Liverpool's a hard game for Chelsea, but not if Liverpool have won the league and Chelsea need the win. So I think, I got a feeling, someone told me the other day that Forest have been in the top 3 or 4 since September.
Yeah.
Don't think they're going to be in the top 5 come May, which is harsh. I don't think they will, unless they can, turn back the clock and start winning. I think Villa might just miss out, which is I think I'd go with the top 5 as it is at the moment. I think that win for Chelsea yesterday If they'd not won yesterday, I'd have said Chelsea are out of it. But the momentum they've got now, Man City have won 2 in a row. But you know what? If Villa win at City tomorrow, Chelsea drop a game and Forest start winning again, we'll be doing it different next week.
Yeah. I'm going to go Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, Manchester City, and Villa as the 5. I don't know. Forest, they have to win tonight.
Yeah.
But then Forest, I don't know. Because their season's been a lot based on defending brilliantly and then catching teams on the counter. Actually, now they can't rely on that. They've got to go for games. It's a different style. And I'm not too sure that, because you can't draw a game. Like tonight's game, earlier on in the season, if they went to Tottenham and drew, we'd all be looking at it and saying, well done, Villa. That's a good result. But they can't afford to do that now. They need wins. They need victories. And I think that's where they're coming up short now because the tactics now have had to change. This is the business end now. You need to win games. You can't just sit in and I just look at Villa and their attack and the attacking threats they have they've got a great squad. I was looking at their team, and they've got a great squad. And I think that squad is going to see them through. But it's going to be brilliant. And Chelsea are the other team I think could get in there. But Chelsea, they've got some tough game. That game against Liverpool, I hear what you're saying, but Liverpool don't like Chelsea. So they'll be up for winning that game.
Yeah, it's just though you don't know what you don't. Yeah. Liverpool, if they need to win, I'd say Chelsea don't win it. But it's like I hate this time of the season when there's no jeopardy in games because it's like you don't want to be. Look at the league. You don't really want to be playing Everton or you don't want your rivals to be playing Everton or Palace at the moment because they're putting the sun cream on, aren't they? But you know that at the start of the season, you can't trust the result. You can't. Some people look at the fixtures and go, "Oh, Liverpool, Arsenal in May." That's great if there's a title race, but if it's over, it's a bit of a dead duck, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. Manchester United, another defeat at home.
Thanks for leaving it so late.
I need to build a suspense. Is that 15 league defeats? Ruben Amorim, by the way, a lot of them have been under him. I mean, had it not been for this great run in the Europa League and you got a great chance of winning it, and like you said, you're buzzing off of the other night, but would he be under pressure now, job-wise? Because he has been horrendous in the league, hasn't it? When you look at his, sorry to Mark. When you look at his counterpart there, that guy, the manager of Wolves, came in at a similar time. To Ruben Amorim. He's completely changed the fortunes of Wolves, right? He's kept them up easily. They're not even fourth from bottom. I think they're fifth from bottom now, right? He's done brilliantly. So many wins. But Ruben Amorim, I mean, in the league, what's gone wrong? What's up?
I mean, ultimately, the team's crap. That's what I think some people forget. I mean, it's like I think there's. It was such a weird day yesterday. We were talking before. An amazing night on Thursday, which I'm still buzzing off that. But then you lose a goal, you lose a game to Wolves. I get it from rival fans because the way we reacted to Thursday, I embraced the Liverpool and Arsenal fans coming in and laughing at us. That's football. I understand that, but it's the United fans coming in and being negative, and I'm like, hold on a minute. They're such hypocrites because literally on Thursday night we win. The manager says it's all about the Europa League. It's not about the Premier League. We'll have to play kids and rotate. And everyone's like, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Sunday comes, you lose. Oh, what's going on? And I get the rival fans. I get it. We've got to take it on the chin because we celebrated big on Thursday. But look, if you're saying to me, would I rather beat Lyon or Wolves? I'd rather beat Lyon. And my head in the position at the moment is people say, well, you should want to win both. 100%. 100%. Man United standards are in the mud. They have been for years. But I'm also a realist. We're not good enough to beat both. So I have to pick. And I just think that's what's going on. I don't like losing to Wolves, but I'm not going to sit on your show and rant and rave about it because I expected it. The team he picked, where we are in the league, it doesn't lie. Even if we beat Wolves, we're still going to be, 13th. Like we're dreadful this year. And that, I think I agree with you, Robbie, is that whatever happens this season, and the Europa League is a get out of jail card, there still has to be a big review on Man United losing 15 Premier League games, smashing the worst ever Premier League points total. I mean, we're 20 points off our worst ever Premier League total. And even if we win our last 5, we'd be 5 under it. So we're going to smash it. So the Premier League record is abysmal. But when you rotate like we did yesterday, and Wolves are a good side, and we lost by a free kick as well.
Yeah, it's a great free kick.
I've got to be honest. I'm really not massively bothered this Monday morning.
Yeah,
we've got to win the Europa League.
Yeah, it's all on the Europa League. Let's just take a look at the table then. As I said, Liverpool top, Arsenal second, Newcastle third, City fourth, Chelsea fifth. But Forest play tonight. They can move back into that top 5 with a victory over Tottenham. Villa in 7th on 57 as well. The bottom 3, Ipswich on 21 points now. They are now 15 points off safety. They're going to get relegated because they'd have to win every game from now till the end of the season and hope that the teams above them don't win.
Robbie, can I just interject on this? Because I keep saying we're old enough to remember this, but relegation is a big part of the Premier League. And at this time of the year, relegation teams start playing like prime Barcelona. They realise they're going to get wage cuts. Weird things start happening. This is weird. Out of the bottom 3, their last 6 games, so 18 games, 1 win. It's something, well, we know what it is, but this is where they're meant to glow up and start doing Superman stuff. 1 win in 18 for the bottom 3. The gap's too big. Like the Premier League needs to do
massive.
Something.
It's absolutely massive. And you know the other thing, Mark, right? I watching Ipswich yesterday, trying to play out from the back, and I'm like, you're not gonna beat Arsenal like that. No. Everybody knows Arsenal technically excellent. They keep the ball for years. You got to try something else. How are you going to try and play the same style and expect to win the game? And I know people talk about the quality of players they have. Obviously, they don't have the same quality that Arsenal and Chelsea and City and that have, right? But you've got to find another way. And when I saw them, they brought on Rory Delap later on in the Liam Delap, sorry. They could have done with Rory Delap. That's the sort of thing I'm talking about, right?
Big throw-ins. Could have done with Rory Jennings.
Yeah.
No, not that far. Not that far.
Right, and I'm like, they didn't even get the ball up to him once because they're trying to play out from the back and they just get caught out every time. Honestly, Leicester, I've seen Leicester do it. I see Southampton earlier on in the season. They're trying to play like Barcelona. You ain't going to stay in this league with players that they've got trying to outplay teams like that. You know, it's crazy. So, honestly, those teams, they have a look at themselves as well. Honestly, I just didn't understand what I was watching. And
the thing is, in the Prem,
all season from these bottom 3 teams.
The thing is, in the Prem, you look at what David Moyes has done at Everton. It ain't pretty, really.
Yeah.
But you know, all you got to do in year 1 is stay up, 17th place, and then you get more money. Look, the teams that have done that, the Fulhams, the Brentfords, the Forests, they don't look like they're going to go down now. Year 1 is the one. You've probably got a 90% chance of going down, maybe even more now. Survive. Don't play out from the back against teams that play out from the back for a bloody living. You know, I agree completely.
It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, let's get into our team of the week.
Yep.
Start off with a goalkeeper. I went for the Wolves goalkeeper. Despite, what's been going on with United, to go to Old Trafford and keep a clean sheet. And, you guys did have most of the attack. No, you got to give him a bit of respect. Bentley's not the established keeper, is he? He's like
Sarpong pulled out. Yeah.
Choice.
It's a good choice there. Looking around, I mean, there was a few candidates, but I think, Pickford did well for Everton, but then they lost. Yeah.
Raya did well, but I think I could have kept a clean sheet at Ipswich yesterday if I was in goal. So
I like that one. It's circumstantial. And to be honest, that's something I didn't mention. United probably should have bloody won that game, to be fair.
Yeah, he had chances.
It's had chances. Yeah, and he came in last minute. That's not easy. Yeah, give it him, yeah.
Right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt there. That's a huge goal. Huge goal. Left back, I went for O'Reilly of City. Again, another massive goal.
What is it about a Pep system where, because Vardy scores loads of goals when he plays left back, this O'Reilly's come in. It's almost like teams haven't figured out that the left back for Man City don't really play left back. He gets forward.
They're forward players. They're like they're inverting. They're in the box all the time. Centre backs. What did you go for? Centre backs.
I'd be honest with you, I haven't really got anybody down. Well, I did, but I don't know whether you'd let me put it in. I actually put, Fredrickson at Man United in. I thought for a first game, and considering the goal, Wolves barely had a sniff. So I put him down thinking, and then I put a note, Robbie will never do it.
Yeah, and you're right. You're right about that because I'm not doing that. I'm going to put in Kivior at Arsenal. I mean, just because I was there in the flesh.
He's brilliant against Real Madrid.
Yeah, brilliant against Madrid, and then brilliant, locked off any attack that came from Ipswich. And Tyrone Mings, I thought, had a good game for Villa up against Newcastle, kept, Isak, and that was really, really quiet. Midfield, I've gone Tielemans, who I thought was
100%.
brilliant in that game against Villa.
Yeah,
Onana as well for Villa, came on, scored, and was commanding. And Odegaard, who I think had a good game. He's had an indifferent season, but he just controlled the game yesterday. He was just gliding around, just doing what he wanted. I know he's only Ipswich, but that was my three.
Yeah, I agree with Tielemans. I think he's been their best player every time I've watched them the last few weeks. I can't really think of anybody that jumps out. I mean, honestly, I didn't watch your game, so I don't know about Odegaard. But I do like him, so I'll go with that. And yeah, I mean, the subs. It's amazing, isn't it? Emery got a bit of stick for taking off Rashford and McGinn in Europe, and then his subs came on and got goals and assists in no time. And that's the life of a manager, isn't it? So yeah, for Emery, I think I'd go with Onana. I'm happy to go with your Odegaard. Yeah. My front three, Mbeumo, Watkins, and Neto. You're going to go Trossard, though, aren't you? Because I did put Trossard there, but I thought Mbeumo, bloody hell again.
Mbeumo, definitely. These guys I'm not sure he'll be at Brentford next season. And if nobody buys him, they're crazy. This guy's absolute quality. Watkins was scintillating. I did go Trossard, but I think Neto, you can't go against that because that was a massive, massive goal. Actually, yeah, I'll take Neto because Trossard, it was 2 goals against a very poor Ipswich, whereas Neto, local derby, Fulham, you got to put it in the context. That is a huge, huge goal. Yeah, we put Neto in there.
There you go. That's a good front three this week. I think that's one of the best we've had, actually. I mean, I agree with you about Mbeumo. I mean, he's got to be. I mean, what would you pay? He's got to be worth easily north of 50 million because it's the assists, it's the goals in a Brentford team. You think about how they were, ramping up Tony a couple of years ago, and he's doing it.
Do you know what? Great point. They're doing it. Wissa and Mbeumo. Tony's gone. They don't miss him. Nobody's talking about Ivan Toney, and that's credit to them two. Yeah, they've been brilliant. That's one of the best pairings up front this season. Let's be real. I can't think of many better than that. They've been absolutely brilliant. So yeah, Neto gets in there, and deservedly so. Mark, thank you very much. Of course, there's a big game tonight. Tottenham versus Nottingham Forest. Huge for Forest. So we're gonna be and then you said Tuesday, is it
Man City at Villa at Man City. I mean, hopefully Villa will win it.
That's a big game for the top 5. And then Arsenal play Palace on Wednesday, which is another one for the top 5. I fancy Arsenal in that one because Palace have got that big game at the weekend. So we'll be back on Friday over on Mark's channel. Right, and I'm sure we'll be discussing because the mixture, isn't it? We've got Premier League and we've got the FA Cup semi-final. So it's going to be really, really interesting. But Mark, thank you very much. Happy Easter to you. Happy Easter to everybody out there, and we'll be back on Friday.